Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Depends on where you're joining us from around the globe. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our primary live trade brief. A lot going on this morning, last night in the markets all over the place. That's what makes this all fun and interesting. Real quick, there's our disclaimer. It's up before every one of our briefs, just reminding folks that we're not registered investment advisors, broker dealers, any of those big things. We don't give investment advice or trading advice. We're not telling you what to trade. We're training you how to trade equity options. We strongly recommend you obviously open a paper trading account so you can go to the simulator before you get airborne and put any real capital at risk. Personal account disclosures, got long MGM this morning. As you saw, we literally moved the market there. There was absolutely not one contract in the strike that we chose, and now there's over 3,000. So Top Gun options can move the market, and it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to talk about the SIN stocks in a little bit here, but I'd be long MGM out to the fall, not October, if you noticed on that alert. And I'm talking to my members here, folks. So obviously, if you're new and checking us out, you didn't get that text and email. But talking to my members, remember, not going out to October. There's going to be an October surprise, and it most likely will be bad. Long Apple, short China, short the S&P 500, and long volatility. Those are my hedges right now. Whenever I say I'm cautiously bullish, big C, little b, that's when I start buying some insurance and getting long some of that volatility, right? I just kind of, as the market's going up, I just kind of, hey, all right, guys, sneak over here, grab a little S&P 500 puts, get long some volatility, and tuck those away in the filing cabinet, right? 3 major assets are owned by Americans: a home, a car, and a portfolio, and you only insure 2 of those. Most of you, not us. We insure all of those things here. Flight schedule, we did our welcome aboard Sunday night. Yesterday, we did our weekly options brief. How's everybody feeling about that FXI trade that we did yesterday in our weekly options brief? I'd say you're pretty damn happy. Mine's currently up $1,900 in a day. That one's looking pretty good. Anybody happy with a $1,900 gain in a day? Give me a vertical head nod. So FXI is looking pretty good. If you didn't get a chance to attend, let me go ahead and bring up the replay page just in case you missed it. All the replays are on this page from all of this. Jim, I'm short and long FXI. Yep. So folks, you can be, maybe we'll talk about this today, or we'll do it in our spread training. You can be bipolar in trading, and so can I, right? You can literally have what's called conflicting trades. That's what's fantastic about things. You can have a conflicting trade, and you just deploy one. If all of a sudden one's making money, one you close it, and the other one's making money. Well, we'll talk about it, but yeah, absolutely you could. FXI trade was fantastic. Thanks, Wiz. You're welcome. So yeah, absolutely. I'll teach you that you can do that. You can be long and short something. And as a matter of fact, it's usually a good idea, or most of the time, especially in this type of volatile market. If you're just directionally trading in one way and you're wrong, you're going to get hurt. So today we are in the primary brief. I'm thinking about it. Usually I open the 50 annual slots at the beginning of the brief. But I have too much to cover. I might open the slots at the end, or maybe we'll just save it for Wednesday all day. Well, at a minimum, let's do it towards the end. I don't want to do it at the open here because we have a lot to cover. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., you'll get a peek inside the accelerated retirement portfolio. Supposed to be a little bit more conservative and longer dated trades, but in this market, in a very tactical market, it's a little tougher, but we'll still do that. And then tomorrow night, we're done. At 8 p.m., I'm going to give you a sample, markets closed, glass of wine. We're going to sit here and we're going to talk through a sample training session of what you're going to get in those 8 training sessions once you become a member. So 50 annual memberships. Let me save this to the end because we gotta get moving. Men lie, numbers don't. We'll take a look at the primary portfolio and how everything's doing. We're having a blast here, folks. We are having an absolute blast. Like I said, we crushed it in that 1 month. All the covered trades, I didn't get filled on all of them, but as published, as covered in all the briefs, that was over $2 million in a month. and that was epic. This is a foot stomper though. That was easy. I know that sounds whatever, but it was the truth. That was easy, folks. That was like shooting fish in a barrel, especially seeing all these long only hedge fund managers like, oh no, I would buy here. Oh, I definitely buy here and buy here and buy here and buy here. And they were broken out of money, and we were the ones selling it to them. Remember, a lot of people got a tough lesson in the market, right? October through January, I mean, you could have been Helen Keller and you were making money in this market. And then right in the December, January, I said, that's it. We're done. There's going to be a mid to late January sell off and a February shit show. We nailed it. So for everybody that was buying on that way up, for every buyer, there's a seller. So that's why when legendary investor Kyle Bass at the height of the COVID crisis was like, we need to shut down the market. I'm like, why, Cupcake? Because you're getting your ass handed to you? No. Thank God Steve Mnuchin was like, no, stock market has to stay open. This is how it works. So God bless Steve Mnuchin, and legendary investor Kyle Bass didn't know what he was doing. You guys know me. I don't need to go through any of this stuff. Let's go. All right. Hey, do me a favor real quick. It's in the chat box, but we got a lot of good folks on board with this. Top Gun Fighter Foundation. We have a GoFundMe page, but you can make a donation there, and then when we get our IRS thing, you can claim it as I don't know. I'm still talking to the board of directors and stuff like this. What I'm asking from you today, just go to the Facebook page right now, click the link in the chat box, and click like for me, because we're trying to get this thing airborne. We've got to stop veteran suicide, man. And this COVID shit and this rioting and veterans tossed aside. You wouldn't even hear what's making the news right now is a lot of the horror in nursing homes. You wouldn't even believe what's happened in some of the veterans' homes. It's a disgrace. It's criminal. Remember that VA scandal under Barack Hussein Obama in Arizona? Guys, these civil servants, these VA employees falsifying wait times and doctor appointments, and dudes just dying. Vets died or went out in the parking lot and put a bullet in their head. I have the type of resources where I'm fighting the VA for I can't hear shit. I'm blind. My neck hurts from pulling G's. Denied. Excuse me? I was a landing signal officer. I stood on the back of the ship at night in bad weather, 20 feet from a Tomcat in full afterburner with little foamy hearing aids. I have tinnitus and it drives me nuts. Denied. I'm fighting them. I have the resources to fight them. Imagine being a 23-year-old staff sergeant getting back from Fallujah and the VA sticks it to you. We've forgotten the people that have fought for our freedom, and it's a disgrace. You wonder why 22 vets kill themselves every day? It's because they risk their lives and we treat them like shit. And I'm going to stop it. So, all right. Anyway, let's get going. This is awful. It's a disgrace. I'm furious. There's a big. The majority of this country is furious about this. I mean, hell, even Michael Floyd's or George Floyd's brother was like, "What are you people doing? Stop." And it's a bunch of lactose intolerant soy boy beta males from their basement going out to try and play Antifa. It's over. It needs now you start cracking skulls. There was shit in Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It's over, folks. Stop, or it is going to get very, very, very bad. The silent majority of Americans will kind of take it to a certain point, and then I mean, look at this, folks. Freaking police abandoned police stations, and it gets set on fire. They retreated. A police force. Why do we pay taxes? So my business was just looted. Thanks, cops. And now they're burning it to the ground. Where's the fire department? I'd send them an IOU. I'd sue the city. If that happened to my business, I'd sue the police. I'd sue the fire. I'd sue the politicians. Stop. If you can't maintain law and order, man, I'm not paying you. I'm furious about this. I've had it. And when you start losing a guy like me, yeah, I saw that video of the cop getting run over last night. This is awful. China's involved. Russia's involved. Antifa, it's enough. I've had it. Now, this is just a little whiz rant because you ready for this? Nobody gives a shit on Wall Street. Nobody cares. That's Gordon Gekko, folks. If it's not impacting the market, I really don't care. As an American, I got guns all over the house, and I am ready. Um, yeah, exactly, Peter. Looting is profitable. Dudes running around with Rolexes, although it's kind of hard to get that thing serviced. As soon as something runs out and you take it into a Rolex place to get certified, they seize it and they call the cops. But I can't. I can't. I've had it. They've lost any moral high ground on the death of that poor man, especially after they killed an African American federal police officer who nobody really cares about, right? It's a disgrace. The police and Trump's speech last night, and then walking over to the church, thought things were going to change. Nope, another night of rioting. The market doesn't care right now, so I'm not going to talk about this too much more, just because it makes me furious. They lost it. Democrats, these Democratic cities and mayors, they blew the opportunity. 99.9999% of this country was united in, holy shit, that's awful. That guy got murdered. Let's arrest those guys and bring them to justice. That's not good. Okay. Kind of remember fighting a civil war. Think we had an African American president for 8 years. Okay. The founder of BET wants $14 trillion in reparations. Come get it. What about these 600,000 Civil War Northern guys that were killed? Do all their families get reparation? I'm not even going to talk about it. It's a disgusting topic. I mean, God, a bunch of African American leaders are like, "What are you, insane? Reparations? Please stop talking about that." But you'll get pasty white boy Joe Biden fumbling all over himself to pander, right? Remember that first Democratic debate? How many of you are for reparations? Every hand went up. How many of you are for giving illegal immigrants health care? We can't even get 60,000 homeless vets health care, but let's give health care to illegal immigrants. Jesus God, man. Global Times says, I want to spy on your computer. No. Quelling protests with troops, self-contradictory for U.S. I love the Global Times. I love reading what our enemy is saying. It's, chaos will be eased, but long-time woes in U.S. remain. U.S. needs to reflect on its social and economic discrimination. I can't even. Two-party politics leaves African Americans no chance to make a change. Here's China, folks. There's our China, yeah. So, well, yeah, the reparations things here is funny, folks. So I'm responsible, right? So we have illegal immigrants and the dreamers, quote unquote, right? You can't hold those people responsible for their parents bringing them here, but you're going to hold me responsible for what my great, 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 great grandfather might have done 200 years ago, whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. You can come get that with some guns as well. This is getting more serious, folks. Beijing retaliates. Trade deal on verge of collapse as China halts some farm inputs. That's not good. So does everybody remember? I knew this was going to happen with the president. Does everybody remember that big, beautiful trade deal, phase one trade deal signing ceremony? What an embarrassment. We watched it here, folks, live. I felt it was a disgrace. It was disgusting. He played hail to. How often have you seen the president do this? He only did it once. I follow all of this stuff. He played hail. They played hail to the chief as he came into the East Room, or whatever it was, with the vice premier He, made those dudes stand on stage next to him for an hour as he went around the room and spiked the football. It was an hour and 7 minutes of a Trump, I love me, this phase one trade deal. Now, China, we're going to Brazil. I told you the other day I would get bullish on EWZ. I would buy calls. I would do burner trades on EWZ to the upside. The Brazilian central bank is buying stocks, and China is saying, F you, U.S. farmers. We're going to get soybeans, cotton, oil, everything from Brazil. It's over with. You have got to be bullish on EWZ. It's over with. Oh, whiz, there's 2,000 people dying a day in Brazil. Gordon Gekko. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about China, trade, everything like that. Brazil's in a bad position, man. There might be, more talks of a military overthrow or Bolsonaro seizing the military. Folks, EWZ. You want a bullish trade? Look at what's it up today. It's up another 4% today. Where were we before the implosion? In the 40s. Yeah, EWZ is the iShares Brazil ETF. This is another one of these moments where it took me a little while, like the Fed in 2000, whatever, Ben Bernanke pumping money into the market. I'm like, why is the market going up? Don't you know that the only reason the Fed's bailing out the market is because everything's horrific? It took me like 2 or 3 losing trades to go, dude, smoke the hopium. Nobody gives a shit. It goes up. The same thing with the EWZ. EWZ, I'm probably going to buy some long calls out into the fall. There ain't going to be no October surprise for Brazil. There's no election. There's no 2020 election down in Brazil. And if the October surprise is China sticking it to the United States, sticking a knife in Trump's, chest, metaphorically, with a trade deal. Matter of fact, we're slapping tariffs on the United States, and they're going to be buying shit from Brazil. I would be a year and a half ago, folks. I still have the Forbes article. Brazil is the best stock market to be in the world. They were beating the United States. I write this one down, folks. Absolutely bullish on EWZ. So, yeah, Mike, exactly. I'm white. My family is recently from the Czech Republic. We arrived long after slavery, civil rights, reparations, African American president. F all this, exactly. So the China tensions are getting very, very, very high. Dear America, a Cold War with China will be expensive. This is a great article in the journal today, and I'm not going to bore you with it. Let's just say, and this is another reason, folks. When I was talking to some guys the other day, they're like, "Dude, what are you bullish on FXI? Bullish on China?" Yes. How many of you got into the FXI trade yesterday, and now you're up? What's my trade up? This is where's my portfolio? $2,000. So I'm up $2,000 in one day on the China FXI trade. Woohoo! Sweet. $2,000 in a day. And I'm holding it. Is the Chinese Navy eyeing Taiwan Prados Islands? From the Taiwan Times. Let me give you a little bit of a hint. Yes, I've sailed through these waters. I've sailed through the Philippine Islands. I sailed through past the Spratlys. I've gone up the Strait of Malacca, through Indonesia on the Kitty Hawk and the Abraham Lincoln. I've flown all around this area, man. It's a shit show. Vietnam, South Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. We own it. I own it. You own it. No, we own it. China owns it. Boom, boom. Coast Guard vessels, seizing fishing boats. This guy fires at this guy. China drags an oil platform and drops it in Vietnam's waters and says, "What are you going to do about it?" This is a powder keg, folks. 2 Januaries ago, before the trade war really started, and I have it saved as a favorite somewhere, there was a Chinese admiral. This was like January of 18. Somebody asked him a question like, so, worried about a trade war with the United States? He's like, what are you talking about, trade war? We can give a shit about a trade war. He more or less said, we'll say we're going to do anything. We're not worried. We're focusing on our strategic dominance, not only in Asia, but around the world. The U.S. is over with. Trade deal. We all knew, because we're smart, we all knew this was all bullshit. China just, yeah, sure. Phase 1. Oh, you guys really got us. Oh, man, you, Donald, the art of the deal, you win. And you guys know as well as I do, his personality, that dude feels a win. He is on cloud 9. Awful. This is getting bad. Now, we are the best house in a bad neighborhood right now. Like I said, done. I'm smoking the hopium. I'm dancing down in Brazil. I could not be more bullish on Brazil and the United. Yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll talk in whatchamacallit. But yeah, folks, there will be no October surprise for Brazil. If there's no October surprise in the United States that screws Donald Trump, the drinks. Remember, this is the acronym, folks. DRINC. This is the potential October surprise that could cause our markets to implode and Trump to lose. Democrats, Antifa, Russia, Iran, North Korea, China. Those are all potential black swan events. I don't know what the Democrats can really do against Trump. Were they going to pull out the Access Hollywood tape again, or say he's a scumbag, or we don't like him, or he's a bully? We all kind of know that. I don't know what other more opposition research you can get on him. However, as I'm in the season 4 on billions, they can go after people around him. So I'm trying to. I'm doing some digging. So, but the U.S. remains, ladies and gentlemen, the best house in a bad neighborhood. The percentage of fund managers deeming U.S. stocks attractive is at the highest level in 5 years. Read that sub-headline to yourself. Whiz, there's 40 million Americans out of work. So what's the jobs? We have non-farm payroll on Friday. Wow, look at these dudes. Jesus God, man. So Friday, we get average hourly earnings. Look at this, 4.71. Ooh, non-farm payroll. Oh my God, man. I just can't. It's crazy. I'm in FXI and it's still underwater. Jurgen, I have no idea what price you got into it at. You didn't get in the price, folks. It's physically impossible. If you got an FXI yesterday at the price, we're up about 5% in a day. I don't know how you did it or what you did. It's not right. Unemployment rate. I've never seen this in my lifetime. There might be a 2. There might be a 20 in front of this decimal point, guys. I've never seen anything like this. Why am I talking about this? Nobody cares on Wall Street. Right? Another Wall Streetism. The market doesn't have a conscience. The market isn't a person, folks. I love when people, well, the market feels overbought here. What is it? A dude that's hungover? The market doesn't have a conscience, and it doesn't have a conscience right now. It's going up. Period. Nothing you do can talk the market down. Nothing. We talked about this though. The majority of it is in here, but the trade that we looked at or that I sent out this morning, I think we might see a little rotation out of the FAGMs to what we're going to talk about today. These things have had a great run, up 15% year to date. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. The other 495 stocks are on average down 8%. Nice rally in the Dow, 200 points. Jamie Dimon with his blinding piece of brilliance. I think the Fed liquidity is propping up stocks. Duh. You made a $20 million a year bonus to let us know that. Does anybody see anything weird on this chart? So the green is the NASDAQ. The blue is the central banks around the world, all the Feds. So there's March. Here's the end of the world. Oh my God, we're all going to die of COVID. And there's Jerome Powell stepping in, along with every other central bank. The NASDAQ and the global bank central sheet are the same. What's the red line? The NASDAQ consensus for forward earnings per share. I told you this delta, if they ever meet, the delta between what the market is and the economy and reality, that's a storm. That's a huge storm. But this is not the left side of the chart. This is not all my books I threw out, all my investing books with Warren Buffett sitting in the recycling bin next to it. Maybe this can keep going on with the central bank. Folks, my call sign's Wiz, not Nostradamus, but I'd love to be Nostradamus going, how's this end? Or does it? When you got a dude on 60 Minutes who is the Federal Reserve Chairman going, I just print money digitally. Meaning it's nothing. I can keep this going on forever. I have always said that the Fred Sanford, grab your chest, I'm coming, Elizabeth moment will be when the market figures out that it's all bullshit. But Wiz, you just said the market's not a person and doesn't have a conscience. Aha. That's where we are, folks. I'm telling you, man. I was editing my chapter 7 for my book on this COVID crash, and it is and just dealing with trying to teach retail traders and investors right now. You got to stop. You have to stop using your brain. Businesses are getting burnt to the ground as cops stand there and do nothing. You know that people are going out of business. You know things are horrible out there. Why isn't the market horrible? You have got to stop. The market is a Democrat. Jay, that's exactly right. As long as there is confidence. That's the great way to put it. Very well said. As long as we believe that Uncle Jerome is there with a put underneath this market, we will go higher. How many times have I said, in the absence of something horrific, this market goes up? This was horrific. Well, I got to be honest with you, man. 100,000 deaths. Every one of those is a soul, is a mom, dad, sister, brother, son, daughter. It's horrific. But in the scheme of things, it wasn't 1 million to 2 million people. I do ask myself, I'm like, if nobody ever told us about COVID, would we have noticed? Hey, Wiz, my buddy's mom died. Oh, okay, well, she was older. If we weren't how many infants and children so the market at this point is over with COVID. It's done. It's behind us. There's a second wave coming. Of course, there's a second wave coming. The race riots, the murder hornets, the first COVID. There'll be a second COVID. Hey, man, I've had it. I'm done. That's why we're going to get bullish on Vegas here. So it's the plandemic. Exactly. 300 million in the U.S. plus illegals. Exactly. We were going down Interstate I-95 doing 150 miles an hour in our Porsche and literally threw it in a reverse over something where the survival rate is 99.01% or something insane. I'll take my chances with that. First of all, I think I had it. You guys know, the middle of January, I was laid out for a week. I thought it was dying. Not like feeling sick, but just I felt like I was dying. Everything hurt. And the malaise, I'm like, just shoot me. It was awful. I have the antibodies thing I got to go because I would see if they can use my plasma. I'm like, I'm not going over to Quest to give blood. It looks like a Civil War hospital. But our market bull's too optimistic. No. Citi warns, markets are way ahead of reality. Go to cash. I got my S&P 500 puts on. I got my VIX on, which we'll take a look at. But ladies and gentlemen, Citi, wow, there's got to be some smart people there. 2 days before the election of Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, Citi came out with a massive paper. Hillary wins running away. Excuse me. And if by some strange twist of Satan, Trump wins, the market will be down 20%. I'm like, oh my God, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Not only does Trump win running away, the market will go up 20%. So when you read notes like this, know that they're stupid as well. You are the smart money, folks, not them. Like a Jeffrey Gunlock, who is short the market. He can't be short anymore. With the guy on my institutional call in the morning, I actually asked him about this yesterday, and he said, I haven't heard from my buddy. So Jeffrey Gunlock's gone quiet, which means he's probably quietly unwinding those shorts. So, yeah, I probably did get it. No shit. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we have some potential new Top Gun options folks here. Why? Read my Wall Street Journal. I still get the paper version. I sit out back and the sun's coming up and I have my coffee with my bunny slippers. Bankrupt in just 2 weeks. Individual investors get burned by collapse of complex security. Oh, man. I'm 67. I just paid these people that trying to jump in the market and trading stupid shit, a leveraged ETF, trade options. It's going to sound Gordon Gekko-ish. No, it's going to sound Wiz-ish. I don't care, dude. I feel bad as a human that you're suffering, but as a financial dude, you were liquidity. You're an idiot. Life's tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid. Mr. Mark bought a leveraged ETN by UPS that bet on mortgage, that companies that invest in the mortgage market. If you notice, guys, how many times did I kind of say there's a storm a coming in the mortgage? People aren't paying their rent, the businesses aren't, and I never pulled the trigger, did I? And got bearish. Why? My sister runs Dune Capital in New York. She ran it with Steve Mnuchin, our Treasury Secretary. I have it in. She's like, there will be no implosion. I kind of take that as the authority. She runs, I forget how big her REIT is, but well, I will say poor people. Pro shares, these pro shares ultra short, these 3-time ETFs, people got wiped out. I mean, this is a sad article about. Well, I'm not gonna dwell on this. The only reason I bring this up is because you're here. Learning how to trade equity options is where it's at. All right, now let's get tactical. Vegas, baby. Las Vegas casinos to open Thursday with many unanswered questions. I get it. And the 25% capacity and sneeze guards and all stupid. Folks, if there's a city or a industry that is going to figure out how to make money with this shit show, it will be Las Vegas. Even if flights and scary, I got dudes in SoCal who are making the hump over the driving up the interstate. Was it I-15, whatever it is, over into Vegas, man. This is good. This is good news. One of the guys in our Max Afterburner group is out in Vegas. He's got eyes on, and a lot of people are excited. So the date has been set. The electronic welcome back signs have been programmed. Reservations have been made. And it won't be long before we see how exactly prepared we are. So what are you worried about? A week ago in Michigan, if you were in a group over 10 people, you got arrested. Today in Michigan, you can be in a group of 300 people burning shit to the ground. What happened to social distancing? Governor Patrick Bateman in California was like issuing up to 120 on the Dow. Good day. Governor Patrick Bateman is issuing masks to protesters. I mean, sometimes I really do wonder. I got to be honest with you guys. 15 years in the Navy, buried about 20 folks. I need an internet connection. I'll go Rosie O'Donnell on this, but I'll actually do it. I'll get on a boat or a plane and go to the Caymans, Turks, Caicos. I've already, trust me, under Barack Hussein Obama, I was this close. You can have my passport, State Department. But anyway, Vegas is going to do it. So yesterday on my institutional call, a lot of the guys and gals, a couple gals who are making a lot of money in the FAGMs are rotating out. Here we go, folks, a little sector rotation out of some of these high flyers, the Facebooks, into these names. Wynn, MGM, Carnival. What? You heard me. Did you like Carnival bookings are up 1,000%? I get they were at 0, but no. The point being is, folks, especially after these riots, people are ready to live. They've seen the Republican governors and okay, let's open smart and kind of let's tiptoe, but let's try and get back to life. No, we must shut down through at least when the election. People have had it. Trust me, I've already a bunch of guys in my group were like, dude, let's go out there and see this. Let's go see. We'll see. I might be going to Vegas. So we'll see. So what will casinos look like? I'm guessing it's not going to be much different than a trip to the grocery store where about half the people are wearing face coverings. There are stores now where it's mandatory to come in here if you have them. I'm like, well, then you lose my business. I'm going to go somewhere else. If you're elderly or immunocompromised, stay home. If you're scared, stay home. I seem to remember some chant, my body, my choice. Well, then leave me alone. So, let's get tactical. Let's get physical. FXI vertical is currently up $2,100. And there is a 84% probability of making $3,300 by Friday. Love, love, love that trade. So let's get tactical with I bought calls on MGM. So for the folks that are relatively new, let's take a look at the 6-month chart. Clearly, and we did a great job. We pounded back in March. We pounded Win into the ground. We pounded MGM into the ground. We did some good work in the sin stocks. Really, really good work with the sin stocks. Was it in this portfolio or AR? Now it was more. We'll take a look tomorrow. MGM. Oh, look at this. So here you go. Here's what we pounded into the dirt in this portfolio. Carnival Cruise Lines, $23,500 being bearish. MGM, about $7,700. Win $3,000. So we pounded the cruise lines, and this is the primary portfolio. And then so that was some pretty good. So let's go back to. So here's the trade that I sent out to my members this morning. I flew out in our airplane and got bullish on MGM. Where did I go? I went out to September. Why September? Because of the October surprise. So June, July, August. Anybody who's been to Vegas knows that what? Well, I've been out there in a while. What's the biggest pool party? I've been to Rehab, at the Hard Rock. I've been to some pool parties in Vegas, man. We will be seeing scenes of pool parties in Vegas, man. And they're going to you'll see Tiesto and Calvin Harris. They're going to try as hard as possible. My buddy owns Dare in the Hard Rock Casino here in Florida. They're already talking about getting this thing back. So I think getting in MGM now is a steal, but I am not going out past October. I am telling you, October. I'm write the date and time I'm warning you about this. October is going to be bad. So, and where'd we implode from? 30s? Yeah, before we stepped off the ledge here, boom. Okay, and look, they don't even they're not even giving forward guidance on earnings. So maybe the next earnings call, when they actually do start saying, "Hey, here's our forward guidance," they actually say things are good or we're back to life or something like that. Next earnings, 723 estimated after market close. Okay. Martin, I just answered that. Why not out to 2022? Folks, let me be clear, guys. Something's going to happen in the fall. The forces that don't want Donald Trump to be president are going to do anything in their power. Who do you think's dropping off pallets of bricks on street corners? It's George Soros funded hooligans, man. Antifa. Something's going to, I didn't think COVID, what could be worse than COVID and 100,000 Americans dead and the economy destroyed? Deploy the race riot. Oh, shit. That could be worse than COVID. Not 100,000 people dead, but now we're all divided again. We actually weren't. We all supported that poor guy when he died and said, lock the officers up. Now we're pissed. Now the people that supported all that shit got their AR-15s cleaned and ready to go. So what can be worse than what we're in right now? Holy shit. That should scare you, folks. Me just saying that right there. What could be worse than COVID and a race war? Whatever that answer is, when you fill in the blank, Martin, is going to happen in October, if not September. I'm a political science major, guys. I'm a student of the markets. I'm a student of politics. I love this stuff. I'm a military history guy. Something's going to happen. They're going to throw everything at the kitchen wall to make, maybe it is a deep state phase 2 of COVID hits in October and 100,000 people more dead. I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm Wiz. I am not going bullish anywhere outside of that. Kevin, Eric, Good job. Alien invasion. Kevin and Eric are thinking the way I'm thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be that China. I just showed you the aircraft carriers. I've reported about drone landing craft. I've been on the China-Taiwan thing, folks. If Xi Jinping really wanted to stick it to Donald Trump, he would invade Taiwan in September or October. Remember what happened when Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea and then invaded eastern Ukraine and then shot down a civilian airliner? My God, Malaysia Airlines had a bad year that year. If China moves to invade Taiwan, folks, flies S-16. They have it's like the U.S. Army and Air Force. They have all our shit. We have a defense of Taiwan agreement. Do we go to war against China to protect Taiwan, or does Donald Trump go, holy shit, we can't go to war sorry, Taiwan. The markets will implode. Donald Trump will look like a coward. And I'm telling folks, if we're sitting here in a primary live trade brief talking about this, do you not think dudes and ladies with stars on their shoulders are talking about this? Or just as importantly, mostly dudes in China are talking about this? Goose, Wiz, I got to negotiate the last F-16 buy for Taiwan. They are expecting us to defend them. Did you see that on the news this morning? I did too. China has a full-scale model of Taiwan's presidential palace. We've seen it on satellite imagery. They're going. I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I want to stay on timeline. But does everybody understand this October surprise? This is a very long answer to the short question of why aren't you going further out in time to be bullish? Why? Because there is nothing out. Ooh. That's some good breaking news. Amazon sells $10 billion in bonds at record low yields. Soon, investors will be paying Amazon just to take their money. I got to save this one. I got to read this. Hey, you know what? I am going to on I think Thursday. I'm going to do a free solo Amazon brief because usually we fill up our 50 full throttle slots and people are like, oh, all pissed off. We have room in solo Amazon, so maybe I'll do that. That is a great. I love Amazon, man. Holy crap! Let me find the presidential palace thing because this is crazy. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. So, guys, the Mohammed El Arian. Nothing. He used to run PIMCO. Nothing matters because the Fed will buy what I want to buy. El Arian slams the mindset of the fake market. China finds 300 asymptomatic infections after testing in higher population of Wuhan. Cases jump in Hong Kong. That's shocking. Where is the I saw it. Oh, here it is. Look at this, guys. Ready for war? China, the largest Chinese military base, has a full-scale model of Taiwan's presidential palace. Look at this. That's the one in Taiwan. That's the one in China. They're training to look at this, folks. Is this all? I mean, seriously? So, very long answer to your short question. Let's get back to MGM. I'm not doing anything out past September. I told my solo Amazon folks yesterday, I am done with the seasonal trades. I'm not putting on early, because usually folks around October, November, I put on bullish Amazon, bullish Visa, bullish retail ETF, and bullish consumer discretionary ETF. Why? Those are my Santa Claus trades. After people sit down and break bread and thank God for all that they have, they go out to Target and beat the shit out of each other for a flat screen to get $10 off. Those are my seasonal trades. I'm not doing them in October. I am going to get long volatility and get short the market in September. So long commit criteria as to why I bought these. Now, check this out. at 9:15 this morning. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a screenshot of the MGM September 22 calls. You know how many people were in those? Goose egg. Not one contract. 0 on the volume. I sent out our trade alert, our text alert, the afterburner folks, the max afterburner folks. Almost 4,000 contracts. Look at that. And I had, before I jumped on the air, 2 of my institutional buddies, who I told at the same time as everybody else, we have hit before I got on the air, at least two of their proprietary scanners. We move the market, and now the stock's down a little bit. I don't care. This is a September trade. Folks, when people see this, and I do mean people, because people do have a conscience and everything like that. When I get off this brief, I'm going, and I do have a missed call, this is awesome. So bullish on MGM out to September, because we're going to see in June, July, August, Vegas is going to open up. I mean, do you remember the crazy, the crazy mayor, like 2-3 at the height of the COVID crisis? She's like, use us as your guinea pigs. Let's just reopen and get back to life here. So you got it, Ray. This is awesome. We are moving the market. Wow, look at that, and it just went over 4K. So here's the trade. I would buy, or I did buy, 140 of these. Why did I do 140? Well, at the time it was about 20. I went large. I went 20 grand into here. Okay, let's talk through, for folks that are relatively new to new options. I bought 140 of the September 22 calls. One of the reasons I also picked 22 is it's because it's half the gap. What do I mean by that? So there's the implosion of MGM on COVID and everybody shutting down. There's half that gap. Basic technical analysis is, and look at this. This is a good climb schedule from the dregs of hell. This thing's slow. This looks like America, folks. Look at that stock since the bottom. It looks like it's trying to get air. This has been closed, folks. I've had buddies who live in Vegas send pictures of the strip. There isn't even like a homeless dude out there. It looked like a bomb went off. They're opening Thursday, folks. We might get a Thursday pop anyway. But look at this. This is the MGM not open. What also does MGM own or win? Macau, China. Macau is reopening, or actually did reopen. That's one of the reasons you're also seeing some lift in here. Okay, but half the gap. When, not if, when MGM hits half this gap with some airspeed, we will be back up here in the fall. That is my prediction. That's the prediction of our SIN guy. We call them SIN stocks, right? Our SIN guy on our institutional call. It's where the SIN stocks have been on my whiteboard over there and my get ready to pull the trigger on. He's like, dude, they're opening Thursday. Get in now. Okay. So buying calls is bullish, right? Now let's take a look at the metrics of this trade, meaning we need MGM. The break even on this trade is 23.42. Why? Because we're paying, in this case, $1.40. If we pay $1.40, let's just do political science math. I'm coming out of pocket $1.40 to buy these calls. They're the 22 calls. Let's do some quick math. What's 22 plus $1.40? We need the stock between now and September to at least go up to 23.40. Anything above 23.40 is profit, right? And look down here. You can kind of take a look at the P&L here, the theoretical P&L right there. Let me erase that. So stay with me here. If, hey, casino's open, wow, rehab's open, Tiesto, boom, boom, and if they get back to pre-implosion levels, I mean, folks, the max profit on calls is unlimited, meaning, hell, what if by September MGM's up at $100, man? Everything reopened and it's actually there's more people there than was before. Holy shit! So you have unlimited upside when you buy calls. Now, the way I'm going to uh, supercharge this is by adding a bullish spread underneath it. Yeah, you could, Goose, you could sell some front month calls against it. That's a longer discussion. I'm just going to do what I wanted to do with my spread here. Okay, so this is almost what we call an afterburner trade, right? Afterburner trade. What was that question? Maz, I don't know if I'm saying your name wrong. I bought the MGM calls 2 months ago. When do you suggest selling? I have no idea. I can't tell you when to sell. What were your commit criteria? Why did you get into those calls? And what was your profit target when you got in them? I'll, not to single you out, but I'm going to use you as an example. If you get into a trade not knowing when you're getting out at a profit target or ejecting for a minimum loss, you failed. You're doing it wrong. Folks, this is why this is called a live trade brief. I know when I'm getting out. So here, let me show you what I told my afterburner folks. Max afterburner, you got to do this, folks. I can tell people aren't using a trade plan when they ask questions like that. So here's everybody on the Max afterburner side jumping in. Where is it? Right here. So here is my 7-step trade plan for these calls. We call it a 9-line. In fighter aviation, whenever somebody on the ground was in trouble and we were going to do close air support, they sent us a 9-line, meaning that each line has a piece of information that is critical. Here's the 9-line I sent out this morning. Strategic mindset. I'm not going to read what each step is, but you should have your trade plan sitting next to you, next to your computer. Trade plan. Bullish. The target, MGM, commit criteria. Vegas is set to open Thursday at 25% capacity. We'll open the floodgates. Population has been cooped up. Summer pool parties. Stock has been on a good climb schedule. There will be institutional support. Rotation out of some of the FAGMs into the SIN stocks. Tactic. Buy 140 of the SEPT calls, 22 calls at $1.43 limit. I plan on firing at the open, chase it to fill. When am I getting out? It's a long-term hold. Will only exit on catastrophic news. Profit on my long calls is 100% minimum. Or 25, actually, no. When was I going to eject out of these? I'm not. These I'm holding on to these, so I actually don't have an eject on these. I'm going lottery ticket on these, but at least for the upside, I said if I make anytime you buy calls, folks, and you make 100% return, pigs get slaughtered. I have people who I'm in these calls and they're at 350%. I'm like, oh my God, man, close them. Well, they might make more, and they might go to zero. You have got to have your profit target in your trade plan before you place the trade. Does that make sense? Everybody give me a vertical head nod. When I see people ask me like, well, when should I get out of these? I'm like, I have no clue. I don't even know who you are. When should you get out of it? Right? So, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about. All right. So does that make sense? MGM. Everybody give me a vertical head nod. Now, what I'd like to do to so coming out of pocket on these calls is what? Is coming out of pocket. It's a debit, right? It's a debit. So I would add a bull put spread underneath this for the same commit criteria that I just gave you. Nice looking support right around the middle of this Keltner channel. Let's go out a little bit. Let's go out a couple weeks. I'm not going to, I probably, where are we? June. Let's take a look here. Yeah, probably 1, 2, 3, the regular June expiration, June 19th. Let's go out to here. The middle of the Keltner channel is 16 and a half. 16 and a half right here. All right. So I'd sell the 16.5s and buy the 16s, right? All right, let me see. Let me do about 150 of these. I'll explain all this in a second here. I'll give you yep, let's do this one. All right, here we go. So 2 trades in today's primary live trade brief, okay? The long calls, and this is a bull put spread. I'm looking to sell 150 of the regular June expiration. Remember, the third Friday of every month is when regular equity options expire, right here. It's June 19th. On this options chain, it says June 20. Remember, whenever you see a month and a year, you are looking at a monthly option. If you're looking at a month and a day and a year, that's called a weekly option, okay? So, whoa, hold on. There we go. Okay. So sell 150 of that Friday's 16.5 puts. That's me saying that MGM isn't going to be below 16.5 by that Friday. What if it is, Wiz, the second wave hits, Vegas closes, and the stock implodes? Well, that's going to suck. But we're going to buy these downside puts. These 16 puts are our hedge to the downside. Okay. So I'm bullish to neutral on MGM. I'm using puts, and this is a spread. So this tactic is called a bull put spread. It's also called a credit spread, right? Bringing in a credit, I'm getting paid to do this trade, $2,400. Okay. Now I'm looking to get filled on this trade. Good, I'll take 17 cents. At 17 cents, 16, 17. See, this is why I give a range. 16 cents plus or minus about 2 cents. So I go as low as 14 and as high as about 19. If it's outside of that range, folks, it's outside of my risk criteria. Maybe I need to move the strikes. We'll talk about this in our vertical spread training tomorrow night in full throttle sample training. Okay. So let's talk about the bad. Where would I maybe eject? If this trade's going against me tomorrow, a couple weeks, or whenever, I simply double the credit that I take in, 32 cents. Remember, folks, we want all 16 of these cents. We want it to go to zero. I want all 16 cents. 16, 15, 14, blah, blah. That means MGM's going up. If MGM starts going down, 20 cents, 22, 28, 32. At 32 cents, I scratch my chin and I look at it and go, what were my commit criteria for getting into this trade? Why am I in this trade? If those reasons have changed, I eject, no emotion. If they haven't changed, I don't. I might even add to the position, right? Okay, so that's the bad. That's the eject, when I would get out of it. Now let's talk about the good. First of all, let's take a look at our risk. Hold on, let me grab a screenshot of this so I can put it on the replay page. MGM 6-2 bull put spread. Okay, MGM bull put spread. Let's analyze it. All right, as soon as I clicked on the analyze button, this is the first place we look, max potential loss. Our max potential loss in this trade is $5,000. Why? That's based on 150 contracts. Don't want to risk 5,100 bucks? You don't do 150 contracts. Want to risk 10 grand? You do 300. Want to risk 2,500? You do 75. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Now that you've acknowledged that, you're the pilot and commander of your portfolio, you go, check, I acknowledge that risk. Then you could look up at Mr. or Mrs. Happy Face and say, okay, I can make $2,400 in this trade. Great. Let me grab a screenshot of this real quick. Let's talk profit. We talked about maybe ejecting out of this trade. What about where we would close it for potential profit? In a credit spread, MGM bull put spread, 6-2. In a credit spread, ladies and gentlemen, I look to close if it's outside of a week. I put this trade on today, and next week or 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks from now, if this trade is up 70, 80, or 90%, If I'm looking at a 70, 80, or 90% profit based on that credit that I took in, I'll close the trade. Pigs get slaughtered. Don't sit here and try and squeeze out an extra couple $100, because if you do, that's when the next day, breaking news, China closes all Macau casinos, MGM's down 15%. Don't be a pig. Close the trade when you hit your profit target. If it's within a week, like between now and Friday, and the thing just explodes and you're looking at a 40, 50, 60% in a couple days, take the profit then. You have to come up with your own SOP, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you when to close a trade. Do your own brief, right? Okay. So this is a good looking trade. Okay. I like this trade, the 16 and a half, 16. 16 and a half, 16. Greg, you got to watch the replay, man. I'm going a little long. We talked about why I selected 22. All right, MGM. I'll place this over here. It was the regular June, 16, 16, 16, 16. Okay, I'm going to try 16 cents. Preview. I'm going to fire that. Boom. Okay. Sweet. All right. What else did I want to cut? Oh, we talked EWZ because I wanted to cover that, how I've actually switched from this thing's going to implode to this thing's going to explode. When the Brazilian central bank is buying stocks, you can't fight the Fed. You can't fight the Brazilian Fed. I get it. People are dying. Bolsonaro's an idiot. Look at it. It's up 5% right now. My God, it was up what, 2% when I started saying I couldn't be more bullish on it, and now it's up another 5%. Wow, look at that. Look at that climb today. That should have been my trade for the morning. My God, unbelievable. Yeah, well, yeah, I could. All right, yeah, I'll do that. I mean, this is our third brief, right? We did the welcome aboard Sunday night, and then we did the weekly options brief. How's that FXI trade looking right now? Where's FXI? Positions up 1,800 bucks. Excuse me. Yeah, we can talk about that real quick. Let's go over to our altimeter, what I call our altimeter. What's the VIX doing, folks? The VIX is, so we're up 200 points on the Dow, and the VIX is essentially flat. It's down 1%. What's that tell you? That this still is kind of a little bit of a hold your nose rally, right? This isn't, the all clear hasn't sounded. I mean, this was our resting heart rate on the volatility index before the world ended, and we're still kind of up here. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is as the market grinds higher, the VIX grinds lower, but we're still kind of hovering. I'm still holding my VIX long calls and my S&P 500 puts. I absolutely, that anytime you see me put cautiously bullish on the screen, big C, little b, I'm hedged. Okay. I put those on last week before, as the whole Hong Kong thing heated up, and the president, I thought he was going to be a lot tougher, and he wasn't. So, oh, sorry, SIBO. There you go. Duh. So there you go. So, and look at this. So the VIX essentially flat. So yeah, something came out. I don't know. Let me take a. Yeah, the S&P pulled back a little bit. I don't day trade. The two positions we just covered are good. They're out 3 weeks, and another one out to the fall. But yeah, the VIX, folks, is staying elevated. It makes sense though, right? If the VIX goes up on uncertainty, what's certain right now? What's certain is kind of we're opening the country, and the COVID wasn't as bad as thought, and a little bit of race riots and stuff, but they can't last. They physically can't last forever, folks. Look at the COVID. We got 2 months of it. Look at the race riots. There's going to be a certain point where the president just deploys the United States Army with the Insurrection Act, right? 1876 or whatever it was. It's nuts, right? So the VIX is always something to look at, and gold, gold treasuries and the volatility index. You should always kind of keep your eye on. I mean, GLD had a pretty good run here, but you know, Karen, you don't day trade, but you're good at it. That's dangerous. So, so Jeff, I agree, man. If Antifa are terrorists, well, first of all, designating them as terrorists, they can be put under surveillance. They can be under the Patriot Act. A lot of things can happen there. There's huge open interest in EWT. Yeah, you know what? I really haven't taken the time to study the EWT at all. This might be EWT is the iShares Taiwan ETF. That is, that might be a disaster play right there. If you do think China's going to move, well, unless I don't. I was going to say I got enough buddies where, holy shit, this is happening. Satellite image carriers leaving port, drones. We should be able to know that they're moving on Taiwan. It's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow morning, breaking news, China invades Taiwan. That would be, that's just physically impossible. So, yeah, you could. If you, I don't short like something like that. I would buy puts on it. I've never shorted anything. When you say short, well, I say bearish. I don't say short because saying the word short means like you're shorting the stock. I don't use that terminology. So, but yeah, let me do that because at least 6 people have said, I'm good. Let's go. Because I was going to open the slots tomorrow. Let me do that now, and then so current members, you guys are cleared off. You guys can disappear if you want, because I'm just going to open up the memberships now to potential new folks. If you have any questions, current members, or if you're Max Afterburner or Afterburner, go ahead and put them in our chat or in the ready room if you are a current member. Okay, so current members, you guys are cleared off, and I'll talk to our potential new members. Good session. I'm happy with the FXI trade. I'm happy. Good week so far, and I'll see all the members tomorrow in accelerated retirement at once. So you guys are cleared off. Okay, so potential new members. Let's go ahead and get airborne. And I said there's 50, and I'm wrong because there was about 6 people. If you look at the replay page, there's a green. My techie, he forgot to pull it. There's the buy buttons are actually on the replay page. So 6 people already got their annual full throttle slots. So what I'm going to do is open up the doors to annual memberships right now, because first of all, they're a little cheaper than if you do it month to month to month, and because I like going in the combat with folks who aren't half pregnant, so to speak, who are ready to get airborne and do this. Okay, so here's it's called Full Throttle, and Full Throttle it's an awesome program. You're going to get access to 8 live training sessions from this is the market, this is an option, this is a call, this is a put, all the way up to advanced tactics. Trust me, the little old lady in tennis shoes is not a joke. We have a lot of little old lady in tennis shoes who have, one of our great members here, Tamara, she lives up in Wisconsin. She came to our live event in Miami. Didn't even know what an option was 3 years ago. She's a Jedi master. And a brilliant woman. We have stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, retirees, lawyers, doctors, fighter pilots, airline pilots, government contractors, small business owners in a wide range of businesses, from carpet services to wired device. And around the world. We currently have 37 countries. Canada's second. We got a lot of Aussies. We got folks in the Middle East. We got people in Hong Kong. I love this. This is awesome. We're going to open up however many more annual memberships we have, and we shut the door at 50. If you can or don't want to do an annual membership at this moment, come tomorrow night, come to the rest of the stuff, and definitely come Thursday, because I'm going to add another free brief for solo Amazon, because that's our kind of our entry level service. But all right, anyway, so let me if you're ready to do a full throttle annual membership, here's what you're going to get today. Access to our 4 skill-based trade briefs. You got to attend weekly options yesterday. You're in the primary live trade brief right now. Tomorrow is accelerated retirement, and then every Thursday at 10 a.m. we do a weekly debrief, like covered everything that we did that week. And sometimes if it's Thursday and there's stuff going on, we'll add a trade into that portfolio. So that actually has one of its own trading portfolios. You're going to get access to, like I said, those 8 live training sessions to learn about options, because I know there was the 2% the other night that said, what the hell's an option? Then great. That's where I started, folks. I knew what stocks were, and then when I learned what options were, I immersed myself in them. It's not that hard, folks. It's not a big investment of time. This isn't like learning how to fly the Dragon to the space station. A little bit of investment in time, Sunday afternoon on the beach, watching some videos or reading the manuals, and having that paper trading account open and firing trades and seeing how everything works. That's what we need to do. 3 skill-based trade manuals. These things are your like aerodynamics, engines, meteorology, weather when I got to flight school. The trade plan, the options pocket checklist, and you get text alerts and email alerts whenever we place a trade live in the briefs or after the briefs or before the briefs, okay, like I did today. So here you go, Full Throttle Max Annual. You get access to weekly options at noon on Monday. You're in the primary live trade brief for every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Accelerated retirement is at Wednesdays at 1, and the weekly debrief is Thursday at 10 a.m. That is Full Throttle Max Annual on the screen. Okay, so the Solo Amazon, it's called Solo because it's not part of the Full Throttle program. I'll introduce that to you on Thursday. I got to remember to do a webinar, add a webinar. Thursday, 1 p.m., I'll do Solo Amazon. Like I said, if you looked at that slide and said, hey, man, I work for a living, well, about 80% of our traders work for a living. You don't have to attend live, as you've seen. Everything's recorded. We send out text and email alerts, and we send out the replay about 30, 40 minutes after the brief. Make sure you get there early. I operate on Lombardi and military time. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And sometimes I open the room early and I show what I'm working on as far as trades and positions. Okay. I mean, Chris, I'm so geeked. Been a subscriber for almost 3 years now, and this is my first time I've been able to attend live. I only know you via the replays. This is the training schedule. Session 1, here's where I do my intelligence gathering and all that stuff, calls, puts, different tactics. So we take this building block approach. And I think I'm going to start this either next week or the week after that. These will be live. These are Monday and Tuesday nights, 7 to 8, 8:30, however long I go. However, we sit here with a glass of wine and I'm going to train you. And folks that have been here for years, come to these. They're like, Wiz, I've seen your covered call lecture 8 times and I learned something new each time. These alone are $495. These are worth their weight in gold here. And obviously you're going to get access to your proprietary manuals, your primary, intermediate, and advanced workbook. Okay. Do me a favor. As soon as you join today, we did 8 of these sessions in March. At the height of the COVID crisis, man, that was our last time we did open up the doors. We got 50 new members. Go watch the old ones. I'm telling you, even it'll be good just to go watch what the history was, but go watch the old Full Throttle ones. We'll do the new live ones here in a couple weeks, but please, I got folks who have gone back years and watched, the past 3 or 4 years of these training sessions to really accelerate their learning. So please go ahead and do that. Okay, here's where you need to go. It's $29.95 for a year. Let me go ahead and bring up that link. It is right here. TopGunOptions.com/FT-order. Now looking at it, so the FXI trade from yesterday is already up $2,000. So essentially, if by Friday FXI hits max profit, I already paid for an annual membership with one trade potentially. So that's some good work. I always hear from people who are like, dude, you're the only service that I've ever looked at where the doors are open and you can come see, and we're actually placing trades that could potentially pay for the membership, right? So yeah, it's TopGunOptions.com/FT-order. So I put that right in there. That's in the chat box. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as you get airborne today, I don't know if Jeff's in here. Yeah, I mean, there's been some great trades. I'm not going to bore you with all the testimonials. We've just had some great work here. Yeah, this has been some fantastic stuff. Well, let me go through a couple of them. Here we go. Up $55,000 today, and I sold everything yesterday. Asa, you saved my IRA. Jeff Turnmeyer, up $100,000 already today. This was back in March when we were, at the height of the COVID crisis. Ron LeDuc closed XLY and SPX for 37 grand today. Thanks. Jeff, I'm on a 250K plus 5-day winning streak for someone who makes under 40 grand working. Just great stuff, man. These, and again, these just couldn't be more proud. There's Tamara. I was long FXI in the last 10 trading days, made a 434% profit. Celia, I'm starting to feel bad about the 14 grand I made on Visa puts. The reason she posted that was because all these people were posting all these big gains, and she's like, hey, I only made 14 grand. I'm like, oh my God, man. I remember back when I was young, everybody's trading different size. This is why I can't give individual investment advice. Everybody's trading different portfolio sizes. Some people are trading small accounts. Some people are trading large accounts. I don't, that's it's kind of none of my business. But really passionate about what I do. You're going to get access to all this stuff. I will add a new event for Thursday, Solo Amazon at 1 p.m. Go to webinar. Okay. If we don't get the 50 slots between now and tomorrow, let's say between now and accelerated retirement tomorrow, I will open up monthly slots. So instead of $29.95 for a year, I think it's $295 for a month. So grab your annual now if you can, because these usually go pretty quick. The last two full throttles with all this nightmare in the market, boom, the 50 have gone because people really want to get in and learn how to trade options. But like I said, definitely, even if you don't want to do a monthly, still come to accelerated retirement tomorrow, because I have a lot more to talk about with the market, especially 24 hours in this market, folks, is a lifetime. So I strongly recommend, even if you don't want to do an annual or a monthly, the monthly is the month. It's $295 a month for the monthly. Duh, it's $295 a month. But we prefer to get the folks who are motivated to do the annual first. Okay. All right. I got to get going. I went long. I apologize for that. I'm not good about the marketing stuff. This is why I open up the doors, and it should sell itself, right? So, thanks, Goose. I appreciate that. Let me show you what Goose just said. Sharon, I have to create an event and then I'll send it out there. So that's just it posted in the chat box there. TGO is a smoking deal bargain. The education is awesome. Been trading for years. So much still to learn from Wiz. Worth any price. I appreciate that, my friend. All right, folks, I got to get going. I'll post the replay here very shortly on the member page, and then I will post replay. Okay. You're welcome, Jeff. Absolutely. All right, folks, welcome aboard. Do me a favor. If you do sign up, you have got to watch the Getting Started video. Okay. It's a 15-20 minute video that shows you where everything is right here. Getting Started briefs. Please, 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 because please don't email support with hey, where's this on the website, or how do I do? I made this video as a welcome aboard brief. It's called the Getting Started video for a reason. Let me put a link in the chat box there. So that's right there. Okay. All right, folks. Yep. Awesome. You're welcome. I had a good time too. A lot going on. I'll see many of you tomorrow in accelerated retirement, or I'll see you tomorrow night in that vertical spread training. I'm going to give you kind of a sample with what you get. Make an investment in yourself, folks. Things are, I've doing this for 28 years. This is insanity going on right here. But to be honest with you, whenever you hear the word insanity, that means it's a target-rich environment for an options trader. Okay. So, all right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.